Very happy here. I have programmed my first ATTINY13, a very simple debounce latch on a PCB that I manufactured with a CNC machine. I'm just pressing this button here. I had to do the button and the switches or the plugs on the other side because this is a one-sided board. It's not a two-sided, so I had to get the solder points on this side. Works great. Programming it was a bit of a pain learning how to do it. So I'm going to explain it real quick. Ground 5 volts, simple enough. Pins 13, 12, 11, and 10 are your ISP pins. And the way to find that pinout, which I will show on camera here, is you can look at the Uno. This is actually the Uno, but it works with the same with the Duomolevo, whatever I have. If you zoom in over here, it shows you. Sorry, I can't pronounce it. I know it's Italian, which Arduino is an Italian company, so that makes sense. But over here, SCK, Miso, and Mosi, and then the last one, pin 10, is reset. I have a 10 kilo ohm pull-up on reset as well on in my circuit. Not sure if that's important or not. This is the guide for how to do it. And the important thing is that you copy and paste the GitHub SLEEMANJ. That is the important part, is getting that for the bootloader. There's another one called Micro ATTINY something, and it, for whatever reason, does not load the LTO setting, which is it's like a latency correction program from what I understand, and it won't work with an older version of Arduino IDE anyway, the older version that I have. Maybe there's some more, you need a newer board maybe too, I don't know. It's frustrating. So anyway, once I got that though, everything was fine. And that was from the guide, which is, let's give some credit on this Instructables guide. This is what saved my butt. And I'm going to scroll up to the author, give them some credit by, the author is Notorious Rapper 2 Chainz. I guess that's the author. Anyway, they saved my butt. Hell yeah. And this is the instructions for how to do it. You go to Tools, click on your Duomolevo is what I have, but if yours is an Uno, that's fine, whatever. Select your COM port. You keep on AVR ISP, which is like the original programming mode. Go to Examples, Arduino ISP, because you're turning your first Arduino into a programmer. Then you go to Preferences, you upload this, click OK, you go to Tools, Boards, Board Manager, scroll down to where it says ATTiny, hit Install, because you've just installed a new Board Manager code, basically. And then you go to Tools, Boards, ATTiny13. This is the important step. You deselect LTO. That part is actually not in the Instructables link, so that part's really important. Then you can burn the bootloader. Programmer, make sure it's now Arduino as ISP, since you're using your Arduino as a programmer. Burn the bootloader, which will take a minute. Then you can throw on your code and start programming and burning stuff. For the code, by the way, you are going to have to change pin numbers since you're using a chip that is not going to default to the examples like in the Blink sketch and stuff. And the way you know which number to put is by the PB here. So in the case of the Blink code, you change the PB to a 4 instead of 13 or whatever it is by default. And that's it. And you get some, I got some debounce code that I compiled at another point in time. And yeah, I'm stoked to see this all working. This is a very, very simple board. I just wanted to test, have something to test with. It's one of the first successful boards I've made with the CNC mill. And I want to make a bunch of these, but what I can do is actually make them without this header and use just a chip programmer. And I don't even need the button or anything because I want to throw these inside pre-existing hardware. All I will need is the chip the pull-up resistor, and I think the pull-down resistor, maybe a capacitor for bypassing, decoupling. That's it. This also has a MOSFET, so I can drive high-powered loads, and I actually have a jumper here. If this solder moves to the left and remove it from the right pin, it will actually select the input from this plug or from this solder point, and then you can actually put a DPAC, TO252 MOSFET, if you want to drive really high loads. It'll do that. Power on, I don't know, whatever you want to power on that's like powerful. Can be up to probably about 20 volts at a high current if you really want. Obviously, if it's a 2 IV current, you're going to have a heat sink on here, but it'll do some nice stuff. So yeah, very simple. Cool little test board. Yay! This is the end of this video.